All right. Start with you guys.
Start with the injuries. Just some updates.
Basically, same update as nothing new from what we had after the game. Everybody's pretty much the same as what we thought after the game was over.
Any MRI results from Jacoby?
Jacoby's MRI is basically there's no change from where his foot was. He felt a lot better today. But he's, obviously if we had to go out today, he couldn't play. So, that'll be one that we're gonna have to closely monitor and see where he's at. But he might miss some time with that.
Is he the most seriously injured, one of the most likely to miss time in the regular season?
Potentially, yeah. You never really know. There wasn't any structural changes from where his foot was before, so and there's not any swelling. So in that regard, that's a good thing. But it's just really a matter of pain right now.
It's not really sort of frame things that Darren went through last year.
No.
What were some of the positives you took away from Friday night's game, and what do you want to build on going into this week?
Well, I thought, defensively, I thought we did some nice things. We took the ball away. We scored twice on defense, so that was obviously a positive. We were better on our field goal operation than we were the previous week. And, again, I thought offensively, there was a couple drives there where I thought we moved the ball extremely well. The drive at the end of the first half was a 20-play drive, but we got to be better in the red zone and punch it in. So, listen, this is preseason. This is training camp. This is still a work in progress. We're trying to be ready for the opening game of the season.
Taiwan Jones got a lot of work out there today for being out for as long as he was. Did he look pretty good to you?
Looked like he had fresh legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he looked good. He looked good and was explosive, and so it was good to have him back out there.
Mike Goodson looked like he was really concentrating on checking the ball whenever he got around some bodies out there.
He has to. When you have the ball in your hand, when you're in charge, responsible for the football, you got to protect it and take care of it. So he's got to do a better job of that. He understands that.
Why, after a day off yesterday and then another day off tomorrow, why the relatively short practice today? No pads.
Well, because we had a short week last week.
Yeah.
And I felt the team was a little sluggish, and so I wanted to give them an opportunity to get regrouped. I didn't want to lose the timing, so I wanted to come out here and get some work done today. They'll get the day off tomorrow, and then we'll be in a regular in-season mode next week or the rest of the week.
Do you have any idea when Curry will be able to get back practicing at this point?
No, I don't. He feels better, but we're not going to activate him until he's ready to, really ready to go, and he's not really ready to go yet.
Is more
He's closer. Yeah, he's closer. He felt better. Don't know exactly when that day is, but we're getting closer to that day.
Think Shane will kick this week?
I'm anticipating that.
Look how he did out there today, right?
Yeah, I told him the first one he kind of knuckled out there. I asked him if we were doing down at punt, but no. Hey, listen, he's the least of the worries. He's a Hall of Fame type of punter, so I'm not real concerned about that.
Saw the play that Nacho made, stripping the ball and forcing the fumble. He was pretty much a down lineman guy, and I think he was with the Chargers too. How is he doing in space in terms of?
Well, that's where he needs his most work. When we stack him off the ball and he's off the ball linebacker, that's where you see that he just hadn't done it a lot. So that's the things with him that we're really working on. We've been impressed with some of his ability to rush the passer. He brings that element to our defense. So I think he's still learning to play the linebacker position, especially when we play him off the ball. But he's done some nice things.
Break camp Thursday. What's the key to keeping everybody fresh and motivated the last few days here in Napa?
Well, we're still working to get better, and we've got to have the end in mind as we work. So nothing changes. We got to eliminate all the outside distractions and focus in on what our job is, and that's to get prepared to play the Detroit Lions.
Seymour missed today with any kind of injury thing, or is he just a veteran that every once in a while he's just going to get the day off?
Who's that?
Seymour.
Yeah.
Because you got a day off tomorrow, you can give him a good nice run.
He's been playing in the league a long time, and you know, you got to give those guys a day off every now and then and let them recover. So it's not an injury situation really as much as it is just giving him a chance to recover.
Anybody else like that today? I saw DHB. Does he have a serious injury? Or?
No, it's nothing serious, but he did have he banged his shoulder a little bit in the game the other day. So, but I don't anticipate that being anything serious.
I saw Tollefson out there, actually on special teams, on kickoff team and stuff. And for a guy that's been around as long as he has, and the whole toughness thing you talk about, is that you want it to carry over special teams too? I mean,
yeah,
most guys that have been around that long don't do that.
Well, I mean, that's the type of player he is, and that's how he's been able to stay in this league for as long as he has, because he's done those types of things. And he'll continue to do those because he knows that's what he has to do to stay in the National Football League. So, and I think it's a plus for us that we can get something out of a defensive lineman special teams wise, because you don't get that all throughout the league.
How bad is his team missing Aaron Curry?
Well, I mean, he's a veteran player. And Miles is going to have some learning curve there. So it's been great for Miles, but we certainly like to have a veteran player out there.
Looking at him on the side, running on the side, when he's running, I didn't see it in the pre-shoot building. What's going to be the decision-making criteria as to when he's
just his ability to change directions at full speed, because that's what you do in the National Football League. It's one thing to run straight ahead, full speed. When he demonstrates that he can bend and change directions full speed, then he'll be ready to go.
What areas did you see Burris improve at the most? Yeah.
Well, I think really when you look at it, he's done a pretty good job of it. When he makes a mistake, he gets it corrected, and he doesn't make the same mistake over and over. But as you keep going on, and you see a little bit more game plan, you're going to see different looks. So there's still going to be times where it's going to be the first time he sees it, and it's going to take a little time to get adjusted to it.
In your years in the NFL, now you're a head coach, is there one thing you took out of camp that you think is the most important besides staying healthy, which you have no control over?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing when you go to camp is when you end camp, you want to be better than you were when you started camp, and that's the only reason why we do this, is to get better. And so I think we've done that. We're better than we were when we started camp, and we're going to continue to improve throughout the season.
With the bursts, you at times have a hard time shedding blocks. Is that common with rookies coming in, or learning how to do that, or what's been that process like?
Yeah, well, that's part of the deal. Learning how to play with your pads down. A lot of times as a college football player, you're able to get away with some things that you can't necessarily get away with in the National Football League. So, a lot of those things are part of the learning curve, and he's getting better at that. He's going to be fine. All right, he's just got to be on an accelerated learning curve.
How'd Myers look out there? So he didn't do much team stuff, but he was just early.
Yeah, he was okay. I mean, we wanted to get him out here and move around. He's still a little sore, but I think he's going to be just fine.
Anticipate him for this game?
I would hope so.
Tight ends haven't been real involved in the offense the first 2 weeks. Is that part of is that missing Myers, or is that just?
No, I think it's just the way the preseason games have worked out. I mean, as far as what we've done from a game plan situation, we haven't necessarily tried to feature them in any way. But there's something to I mean, the coverage that the defense plays a lot of times going to dictate where you're going with football. So even though you might have something up and want to get the ball to somebody, depending on how they play their coverage, that might be taken away.
After 2 preseason games, are there areas of the team where you are pleasantly surprised about what you've seen, and other areas where you've seen less than what you expected?
Well, I think we've had some explosiveness. Obviously, Darren's been explosive. The biggest thing I've been disappointed with has been the consistency, and really it's consistency in all phases. We have to learn how to be more consistent offensively. We've got to be able to hit when we get our shots. We've got to be able to take them and hit them. We've got to protect the ball better. And when we get down to the red zone, we've got to be able to punch it in and get touchdowns and not field goals. Defensively, we were put in a couple tough situations in the game the other day. One time I thought we responded really well, and then another time, the other 2 situations after the punt return, I didn't think we responded the way we needed to in the first drive. So we've got to be more consistent in all phases. Special teams, we've got, we corrected one thing, but then something else came up, so we've got to do a better job.
Curry, is the window closing as far as him being able to come back week 1, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Come back this week? Is that a key?
I don't know what that date is, but I know we're fast. We're fastly approaching that day where, he's either going to be out here and be ready to go, or he's not. Because it's not a game where you just show up and play. You got to get some work. You got to get some practice, and he needs some work. So whenever he's ready, he'll get out here and start working, and then we'll see when we can get him ready to play.
But you are confident, based on what you've seen, that he will be back.
I would expect him to be back, yeah. But he hadn't gotten to that point yet.
Does that do it, everybody?
Thank you.
Okay, guys.